Hello, lovelies. I am your host for Critters and Craziness Talk today. It's Mama Maggie Ward, stroke survivor, migraine overcomer, and one of the more prolific authors you have never heard about. We are going to be talking about pets and writing and how to not make them props. Today I have lovely co-host. I have Rachel, and I have our hostess with the mostest, Sam, and we're all here with our pets. You can't see mine right now because they're all asleep on the floor over there by the desk. So, yeah. And it's a very warm day here in Colorado. 70 degrees in February in Colorado. So all of the cats have run outside to play outside. And I see we have a Kona. Do we have a Jojo? Is Jojo around, or is Jojo enjoying the weather? Hello, Jojo. All of the dogs are having nappies. That's fabulous. I am so excited to get to do the break time because the breaks have been a lot of fun. We've had a lot of fun chats in the breaks, and it has just been. Everybody is finding people to sub for that they've never found before. Please reach out. We have the very lovely Shirley, S.A. Crow author, who is going to be our moderator today. Welcome to her. We are so happy to have her. And here's the playlist for the under 1K subs marathon for AuthorTube and BookTube. Please click the little thing to save this playlist to your page, and that way you can go back and watch all the streams you missed. Devin dropped in, can't stay. Stephanie's here, stopping to boot the light bucket, gonna grab a snack before her stream at 6 p.m. Eastern. She will be coming on directly after me. Rachel is doing double duty, yes. Hello, Jenna, wave. Kay is popping in. Hello, Neil. Welcome. Hello, Rita. Rita is up north with a bunch of kitties. All the kitties. I support Crazy Cat Lady Life. I'm I the only one who gets hungry after a live stream? No, you are not. No, you are not. Let's see. Jocelyn is here. Hello, lovely. Jenny made it on time. I had dinner. So much take time now. We'll eat and back to work. Nice. 71 in Alabama. Yeah. Colorado and Alabama are the same temperature in February.
That's not good.
No. No. Yeah. Puppies. Here is the link for the scavenger marathon. And if you are doing the little bingo card, then you can see there are lots of animals below. Everybody's getting different animals. I have not seen a giraffe yet. I don't know how I ended up with a giraffe on my card, but I ended up with a giraffe on my card. I don't even have a stuffed giraffe. Okay, it's fine.
I haven't even looked at the bingo cards. I've just saved the link and I haven't even looked.
I downloaded it.
I've got one across and part of one down, so I'm working on it. All right, so I am one of these people who I have lots of animals in my stories. I have lots of pets in my stories. Animal behavior. Sam and I were talking earlier about how they're like, you don't need all the animal behavior stuff. Yes, you do. Yeah. Yes, you do.
Yeah, I wish I could go back and add it all now.
We're indie authors. We could do what we want. As long as you don't increase the word count by more than 10,000 words, you could do what you want.
Well,
so in the original stories, that the ones that we're doing right now, it's like we actually dove into animal behavior when it came to molding the dragon behavior, molding the lichen behavior, because we got different types of lichen, stuff like that. But we don't have pets in this one, and I kind of was like, it wasn't something that we realized, I think, because we had used so much of the animal behavior stuff for the actual characters, and we didn't think about that. But in my fantasy stuff, oh yeah, I usually always have like some sort of animal character in there with them. So yeah, it's definitely needed. I'd be I come from reading books where, you know, the animals are a part of the story. They're a big part of it.
Yeah.
I had all these different horse types for I'm No Hero. So, like the capital, because they're so fancy and most of the people that live there are rich, they have these fancy horses that have like gossamer looking manes and stuff like that. And they also act different because the ones in the capital haven't worked a day in their life. So, it's all about treats and being spoiled.
Yeah.
Whereas the ones back where Nadasha grew up, they're work animals. They're muddy.
See, I've got, I like, well, you've seen Relic of Time War. I've got everything from common pets to exotics to people have genosaurs as pets. You want a pet T Rex? You want a pet Diankylosaurus for a guard dog? Yeah, you can have that. Why have turkey for Thanksgiving when you can have Velociraptor? Um,
That's gotta be chewy, man.
Well, and not as much as you think. Yeah, basically, but there's a whole thing in the Cretaceous Conspiracy, which is book 3 of Relic of Time Wars, where all the cattle and horses and domestic poultry are dying off. You find out later it's a manufactured famine, but to press forward with this using dinosaur meat for food because the main antagonist is a semi-immortal and he misses his food from his childhood. So once they've revived the dinosaurs, a brachiosaurus. Fun fact: this is theoretical zoology, but fun fact: a brachiosaurus produces as much meat as 100 head of cattle on only half of the resources.
Mm-hmm.
And it's I mean, when you think about things that way, if they're so against cow farts, causing climate change, why don't we get our herbivore dinosaurs back?
Okay, that's always been a thought for me. Whenever somebody comes up with something like this, my brain, because I play Ark, and my brain is going, man, can you imagine the methane in that thing?
Well, the other thing is like one thing that like, so because my dinosaurs are genetically modified creatures, they don't struggle with being alive now. Now, if you went back to the Cretaceous, grabbed a bunch of dinos and brought them forward through time, they would seriously suffer because our atmosphere has a lot less oxygen now than it did back then. Any Triassic creature, pretty much anything before the Younger Dryas event, if you brought it forward, here you go, dumped it in our time, they would be in a world of hurt. Mm-hmm. They would all have dropsy. Mm-hmm. Hello, Laura. Yeah, Brachiosaurus is one of my favorite sauropod dinosaurs. Yeah, I am a big fan of the ceratopsians. I like Triceratops and Clariceratops and all of those beaked dinosaurs. I think they're pretty cool. Yeah, Ark always comes up.
Especially dinosaurs.
Yeah, it's interesting. There's so many interesting things now that we can, work on with animals. One of my favorite scenes from Jurassic Park is where they first the Brachiosaurus eating from the tree. Yeah. We and it's like this idea of otherworldly creatures. I actually clipped scenes from some of my books in case I didn't have co-hosts, so I could read like scenes that happen in my books, because I have therapy pets. Mm-hmm. And I have this hysterical scene that I am going to read today about Yuri's therapy cat.
Oh.
So backstory, Yuri of Adamos has been revived in modern times. They have restored him a body. and he is super struggling with it because, PTSD from almost 1,000 years of war is not something that just goes away. And so he is really struggling. So he finds this little kitten in the forest, this little orphaned kitten in the forest, that had been killed, that's mother and littermates had been killed. And so he remembers the story the blind oracle told him about someday he's going to have a war cat, a trained war cat named Fish Lover. The problem is he hates cats. And his brother Caleb, who is the guardian of Etheria, also hates cats. But Caleb loves Yuri enough that he wants Yuri to have something to help heal him. So if focusing on taking care of this nearly newborn kitten gets Yuri off of his PTSD, that's what they're going to do. Land Before Time. Yes. We're all talking about it, yes. Jojo!
Come back, Jojo.
She was like, I'm done with you. I hear somebody in the kitchen. I might get something. So she's gone.
Yeah. See, mine have been running around all day. They've just been enjoying the outside. And so it's like now they're all in here laying down. And I'm like, okay, you guys are supposed to be up and active for the stream. But no, they just all came in the office and flopped down. So I'm like, well, okay then.
I'm trying to annoy Kona enough so that she'll actually sit up.
No, it's nap time. We scheduled the critter stream for nappy time.
Alone.
Yes. So I'm going to read you a scene about Yuri's catfish lover and why sometimes having pets with personalities and getting to write them in can be a really good break in a really intense book, because this is from Swords of Etheria, and the whole book is basically about the prep for the war and how serious everyone is, and just everyone is so stressed out. The next day at mid-morning, Daisy was working in the Tech Corp Center when Shads timed her wrist comm with an SMS. Turn on the feed for the training center outdoor combat area now. Daisy frowned and logged into the security vid feeds. Kaleth and Yuri were facing each other, holding training staffs, but there was something moving between them in the center of the ring. She scrolled and zoomed in for a better angle. Yuri's tiny kitten fish lover was standing between them. She calmed Shads and watched him tap his earpiece. She could hear the kitten growling. She already knew this was going to be entertaining, as she cross-recorded the signals to show Asha and her twin daughters later. Why is Fish growling at Kaleth again? Daisy asked. I do not know, my lady. He seems to have taken offense to the Guardian and the Huntsman sparring. Shads answered quietly. She could hear his amusement. Fish just takes offense to Kaleth, period, and the feeling is mutual. Cars, Abri, and Colby are on your left rear quadrant. She laughed lightly as the tiny kitten swiped at Kaleth's boot, snarling like a full-grown wolfhound. She watched the four standing at the edge of the ring, listening to through Shad's open mic. The other warriors and novices began gathering as Fish Lover's kittenish growls amused them. Kaleth and Yuri were both grinning at the kitten. The large guardian smiled in tolerant amusement. Yuri, poke me. The huntsman lightly tapped his shoulder with the end of a fighting staff. The tiny gray kitten fiercely attacked Kaleth's boot, growling and gnawing on it. Cars and Abri were laughing as Colby chuckled. It's so menacing. Shads could hear Daisy over his comm in his ear. Oh my God, don't do it. Don't poke Yuri back. She started giggling. Why not? Shads asked aloud. And as Karstein looked at him, he tapped his ear comm and elaborated. Lady Daisy is afraid the Guardian will tap the huntsman in kind and Fish will eat him. She snickered uncontrollably. And the feline will attempt to consume him, Shads finished in a bland monotone. Colby covered the lower half of his face as he laughed. That would be unfortunate. As they shared their amusement, Yuri bent to retrieve Fish Lover, who had managed to chew through one of Kayla's boot ties. Both giant warriors were chuckling as the 5-inch tall kitten stood bravely between the huntsman's boots, alternating between spitting and hissing at the 6-foot 9-inch tall guardian and mewling plaintively at the 6-foot 8-inch tall huntsman. They have no idea the danger they're in. Shads, tell Cars he's going to need Jenna to calm Fish and to save Caliph in Europe. Yuri, I can't reach her. Daisy sounded like she was barely holding back as she started whispering in a sing-song way. Don't do it. Don't say it, Yuri. Fish will eat you both. My prince, the oracle informs me that we will require Lady Jenna's assistance to calm the feline and save your father and uncle, Shads announced drolly. While Cars nodded, his eyes glowed, and he spoke to his sister's mind, summoning her to the training center. Meanwhile, Fish Lover stalked toward Caliph again, growling and hissing as everyone chuckled. Then the huntsman Lord Urieth said the words that would put his brother, the guardian High Lord Caliph, in mortal danger. Poke me back. Caliph lifted the end of his fighting staff and gently tapped his brother's shoulder. In a blur of gray fur, the tiny kitten was on him, clawing and biting him as she climbed Caliph like a tree. The guardian yelped in surprised pain while the tiny feline released its protective wrath upon his flesh. Yuri tried to save him, only to end up bitten several times before Fish Lover launched himself from the huntsman's grasp to the guardian's leather chest plate. The attacking feline used his tiny claws like grappling hooks, holding himself in place as he chewed Kayla's exposed neck above the training armor. Shads could hear Daisy screaming with laughter. Bad kitty! Bad kitty! The guardian and huntsman yelped in pain and surprise, trying to subdue the voracious, overprotective kitten. Most of the guardsmen backed away quickly as Fish Lover landed on the mat and then charged them all, attacking any who came forward to help. Almost everyone seemed terrified of the tiny, snarling feline, no larger than a drinking glass. Shads tipped his head but didn't flee, while Colby, Cars, and Abri practically collapsed against each other in hysterics. Jenna rushed into the training center and dove on the kitten, who cried pitifully as she cooed to it. Oh, Fish Lover, you're such a brave kitty, such a good kitty. I'm so proud of you. Jenna turned her wrath on them. Father, uncle, you should be ashamed of yourselves for terrifying him like this. He's just a baby. Go and see Asha. Jenna scolded. Then she glared around at the guardsmen with the best imitation of her mother any had ever seen, snapping, Don't you all have training duty or something? She squinted at her father and uncle. I'm telling Mom and Sis, she huffed, stomping out and taking the kitten with her. Jenna only paused long enough to slap her older brother in the back of the head. Stop encouraging them to tease Fish. Daisy, watching from the tech center, couldn't breathe. She was giggling so hard she had fallen onto the floor. As the guardsmen dispersed and Caliph and Yuri, both bleeding from a dozen bites and scratches, turned as one and stomped toward the healing hall, she reached up to turn off the recording. Shads had stopped chuckling and stated in a droll tone, Perhaps we should train felines instead of canines for combat. They appear to be more vicious.
They are.
You really are.
They are. Very much so.
If you've ever worked in a vet's office, you know they are.
Yeah, felines and tiny dogs. Those are the ones you're afraid of. You're not afraid of the big dogs.
Mm-mm.
You're not afraid of the horses or the cattle.
Used to have a Jack Russell that would run around and just annoy people by jumping. the height of the table.
They're
What you
so
doing?
good at
What
that.
you doing? What you doing? I love the idea of big warriors being taken down by a little kitten.
Yeah, they don't want to
Yeah.
hurt it because it's so tiny, but oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah. Caleb and Fish Lover, they were enemies from the start. But Caleb loved his brother more, so he let them keep a cat.
Hmm. The only animal I've ever had a problem with, other than squirrels, we'll go into that later, um, is a pregnant possum. Every single one that I've had to take care of and whatnot, they have been horrendous. I don't know how many times they tried to crush my hand with biting and hissing and everything.
Protective.
Yes, very protective and in pain. That the one was in severe pain because some idiot vet, her arm was broken.
Oh.
So usually you just put the cast as far as you can. This idiot vet put the cast along all of her arm and across her chest and back around on her back. And I'm
Ooh,
like, what the
she couldn't
hell?
move.
No. And her skin swelled around it because she was pregnant. Fluid had to flow through her body more than normal. So yeah, I was just ugh. Darn squirrels, definitely. I love squirrels. Do not get me wrong. I think they're the cutest animals in the world. They hate me.
They hate you.
They hate me. Um, I will go for a walk and they'll throw things at me. We went to Yellowstone, almost all the way across the country, and the squirrels over there were doing the same thing.
I have the opposite effect, but I raised a squirrel when I was a kid, and from it was another kind of case where you got these big burly men that were out, working in the forest, and they cut a tree down to get firewood. And the next thing you know, we're getting phone calls. Oh my gosh, there's a baby squirrels. We didn't mean to. Oh my gosh, And so everybody got a baby squirrel,
Yeah.
and we were raising them in our neighborhood, and
Yeah.
it was fun. They are
When I,
they are a trip.
They
They
when
are
I
are.
a
lived
trip.
in Texas, we would do possum rescue
Yeah.
because to eat the ticks and stuff, the chicks and grubs, you need possums. So we would
Mhm.
do possum rescues, and we had one. Her name was Stumpy because somebody had set out like a little bear trap kind of a thing for
Yeah.
rabbits and had caught her, and
Yeah.
so she ended up with one of her arms amputated, but she was a fabulous little thing. Once they realize that you're not going to hurt them,
Mhm.
that you're just there to help them, they tend to not be so bitey.
Yeah. And once they are not stressed out
Yeah.
because they're pregnant and there's humans around.
That's not the ideal situation in their mind. They're like,
No, they're
no.
not.
Yeah. But it's yeah, but having animals in your story can really deepen the dynamic with
Mhm.
like it's others. And the thing I love breaking is like in Stars Over Pagosa, when I release it, there's a dog in there, Nero. And everybody says, "Oh, dogs know when people are bad people. They know when they're evil people." Well, the problem is dogs bond to their caregiver. It doesn't matter if it's an evil person or not. Nero is the serial killer's dog that he took from one of his victims. So just because someone has a pet does not necessarily mean.
Well, we had a situation in real life that I want to at some point write into stories, and that is that I have um, an autistic son, and sometimes animals react to him differently than they would a normal, person with a normal brain chemistry, I guess. And so when people say things like that, I'm like, I have to, bite back on that's not necessarily true. Because he's had dogs that love him, like Jojo, some of our other dogs loved him. But then he's also like, when he was a kid, he was really forward. Like he didn't understand. We had to teach him space, teach him. And when he saw animals, of course, he was just like, he's the kid that brought me a snake and said, "Hey, look, Mom, what I've got." He chased down and captured a chipmunk as a child. He had no grasp of an animal could be dangerous, might bite, that kind of thing. And so, yeah, he would just approach dogs, and sometimes dogs don't like that, and we had to teach him that. And that was one of the things that came up in one of our neighborhoods was, oh, well, I don't like that kid because my dog doesn't like that kid. And it's like, wow, okay, you need to chill. So,
yeah.
So yeah, I always wanted to write something, based on that experience, and haven't done that yet.
Yeah, we've had my daughter, my eldest, is autistic, and she runs a pet sitting business now. But when she was little, we had to train her. You always ask permission to approach dogs because some dogs are working dogs. They cannot be distracted. And some dogs have been trained to not let anyone near their people. And so, she's never had an issue with like any animal not liking her. But we still taught her how to, cope with that and everything. And then we've all seen, unfortunately, the reels where there's like the lady's like yelling at some Karen is yelling at somebody who's training a service dog or somebody with a service dog.
Yeah.
Let me pet your dog. Let my kid pet your dog. You're just being mean because I saw one lady was like, well, my child's autistic. You should let them. And I'm like, wait a minute. Just because your child is autistic does not mean, yes, are you patting me? Yes, hello. Just because your child's autistic does not mean that they get to run roughshod over everybody else.
Yeah.
Nope, they have to be taught.
Yeah. And so it's
the bad habits that certain people teach their kids and the people around them kill me sometimes.
Yes. Hi. Yes.
It's like the fact that a lot of animals are better behaved because they've been trained better.
Better behaved than children?
Humans. Yeah. That kills me. I'm just like, wow, guys, do better. Come on.
Yeah.
This one hasn't been trained at all, so she's just princess.
Well, JoJo is like minimal training. I think more her age kicked in. Like she just got to a point where she's like me now, and she's just like, I don't care, whatever, And like other dog, unless a dog approaches me or James, she's like, I don't care, whatever, bark, bark. I'm working. I'm going this way, whatever. Now, if she's more active if we put her in a cage, like not a cage. What am I trying to say? The doggy park thing.
Yeah.
Because then it's like this is playtime, and she's fine. But yeah, when she's on the leash, she's like, I'm working. Leave me alone.
So another story, I've tried to do exceptionally well with squirrels because when I was working at the Wildlife Rehabilitation Center, we did get baby squirrels in. Those little things would attack me whenever I reached into the cage, so I couldn't feed them, I couldn't medicate them, I couldn't clean them, nothing, until I got my little pal out. His name was Pirate. He was a screech owl. He sat right here on me, loved up on me, and the squirrels were like, we can have him.
Oh, that's it.
Girls are like, oh no.
You smell like a predator, that's why. All of mine are trained because we're like way out in the country, and I have to have them so they will return to me on command. And so it's like mine are moderately trained, but it's I don't know, it's just I did a thing about this about Pets Are Not Props for Breaking the Block a few months ago, because a lot of books will have a pet, and the pet will have no personality whatsoever. It might as well be just an AI toy that does certain things. And then there's some books like I love my cozy mysteries, and like there'll be a pet in it, and the pet has a better personality than all of the characters, and I'm there for that.
Yeah.
I am there for the pet psychic detective mysteries, and Daisy the police dog being my favorite character of the whole series, just because of her snarky goldenness.
I think that pulls me toward the cozy mysteries more than anything. Or when they have the pet there and the pet has something else to do with it. I mean, it's like, I don't usually read cozy romance at all, but I grabbed Emma's book and it had Mr. Darcy the cat in it. And I swear, Mr. Darcy had me. I was like, this cat knows. You need to listen to this cat. And the cat did. It wasn't like supernatural. He was not speaking, y'all, but the cat was letting her know, not this dude.
The cat was like the side eye, the cat with the side eye.
Like, oh my gosh.
I like the ginger. I don't like the royal lord. It's having pets makes things great. I do not like that there was a thing, we remember this last spring. There was this psychology major who was putting out a book and had this rant. Oh my goodness. Had this rant about how people over attach themselves to their pets.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's a scene where a dog dies.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no trigger warnings. She didn't tell her beta reader. And the dog gets hit by a car. And the beta reader was so upset by this. And because the character was not upset at all, didn't seem to be upset at all. So she publicly attacked her beta reader and people for being overly sensitive. Her book was canceled before it was ever launched.
Yeah.
Wow.
The internet went crazy, and threads. There was thread streams, just comments with thousands and thousands of comments just going, I would die for my fur babies.
Yeah.
I would shoot someone for my fur babies. My fur baby is smart. My fur baby is, and everybody was talking about their dogs, their cats, their birds, their snakes, all of their pets. And I don't know if the book was re-released, if it was anything, but I just know that it was up for pre-sale and then it was just gone. The author page was gone. The author website was gone. The Instagram profile was gone. The TikTok profile.
You better use another pen name.
Facebook the Facebook author page was gone.
If there's anything to learn from John Wick, it's don't do that.
For real.
Well, there's a whole thing. I don't care who dies as long as the dog lives.
The dog lives.
Yeah.
Dog, cat, horse, pet,
Like it's got to be part of the story, part of a big part of the plot that they lose the animal.
Yeah. Well,
because I get that it's realistic, but you just, with what you just described, it was like it just happened out of nowhere and the main character didn't even have any kind of reaction to it.
It was the antagonist, and it was supposed to be the thing that set them on the path to being a psychopath. But I didn't get to read it.
But then the author attacks the beta reader, though. I mean, that's just
publicly attacks the beta reader for being over attached to an imaginary pet in a book. That's the thing. That's the thing with having pets in books is we project our own pets.
Yeah.
Into these.
Well, I mean, if the dog gets hit by a car, how many of us have witnessed that firsthand, too? So that's triggering to some people.
How many of us have risked our own selves to avoid hitting an animal in the road, not to hurt other people, because you have to make. I have had to make that conscious choice of hitting an animal versus trying to swerve because of oncoming traffic and stuff like that. And I cried
Yeah.
for days afterwards.
Mhm.
And it's people, people, and they've shown that people who have empathy for their pets have empathy for their friends and families.
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean, Eric. It's Eris, it's the idea that, he goes on a rampage after the dog gets killed. So
All of us
it's like,
dream of
take a
doing that.
lesson, man.
Well, and it's and especially when an animal is a gift from someone who is then gone.
Yeah.
Like we were talking earlier, and I was like, I have a character in Pagosa Cliffs, which is Cajun the cattle pony. Cajun the cattle pony is it's a super smart horse, like a typical cattle pony. And this is based on Poncho and Cajun, who are actually two horses that my family owned when I was a little girl. One was my grandfather's, one was my uncle's. And then another horse named Cajun that I actually encountered while I was teaching at Girl Scout camp, teaching other kids how to ride. They go out and herd the cattle and the horses because they're bored. You get these super smart animals and they have their own personality and they have their own thing, and they will give you that bombastic side eye. And they will fight to protect you. They will do what they have to do, and sometimes they sacrifice themselves to save their humans.
Mm.
And that, honestly, I think of all the characters I've written, I think that was the death I cried over the most, was when Cajun dies saving TJ and Gracie from the wildfire. He's running, TJ's leg is broken because he got trampled by the cattle. And Cajun is trying to get them to the lake up the mountain from where the fire started, and has a stroke and falls down. That scene was so hard. I cried so hard during that while I was writing that scene. It was the last scene that I wrote for that book because I knew how hard it was going to be for me to cry, to write it. And then when I was editing, I purposely would skip that scene, edit the rest of the book, and like I couldn't edit the scene because I'd be crying and snotting, and my husband would be like, "What is wrong with you?" And I'm like, "I killed Cajun."
Can't help yourself.
No, you can't.
I still tear up with like somebody mentioned that one scene in Never Ending Story, and that it's like I will still tear up on that one. I know it's coming.
Yeah.
And I'll still
it's coming, and you're like, I have to leave for just like 4 minutes. I'll be back in 4 minutes.
Well, it's the same with The Red Fern Grows and Old Yeller too. Like all three of those movies kill me.
I
I'm
won't
like,
even,
why
I
am
won't even
watching
watch Where the Red Fern Grows. No.
No. Nope.
I saw a thing that was like the most traumatic costume to wear to traumatize Gen X.
It was Aatrox, wasn't it?
It was it was a kid dressed up, and he was had this little flat thing that looked like a tray of mud with just the horse head sticking out, and he was pulling on Atreyu's lead as they were walking around, and it was like, okay, yeah, you have just traumatized your parents and all of their friends.
Yeah. So I would probably kick the parents for allowing their kid to do that.
You're like, is this yours? Is this yours?
This is
come here.
Own it.
You want the most traumatizing, horrifying costume? Here it is. It's just a kid dressed in buckskin pulling around a horse head on a little wheelie trolley.
Nope.
Yeah, that scene traumatized a whole generation. Yeah, yeah. I would rather drive behind a logging truck than deal with that scene.
But that little orange flag is there for your safety. Sorry. I saw that TikTok video and it has stuck with me because my dad was a logger. So every anytime somebody does Final Destination logging thing, I have to say that line.
That one. I see. I grew up in logging country down in southeast Texas, and we had a logging truck get hit by a freight train.
Oh,
and it just looked like
two fears wrapped into one. Totally.
It was just like the freight train looked like someone had just skewered it, and the engineer, the logging truck, like got caught and stuck on the tracks, and the engineer could not stop. Because they had just built up steam to get over a hill, and they were just on the downside of the hill, and there was literally nothing that could be done. And it was just like the engineer they had to cut away. It took them like 2 or 3 hours of cutting away logs to get to him, where he had just crouched in the center of the engine.
The scariest thing that I will never do again, because I'm not in that profession anymore. I helped Dad 2 summers, I think it was. And one summer was after a tornado hit Tennessee, and we went out there to help clean up. You never know where those trees are going. They can be laying on the ground, and you cut just a sliver, and those trees will twist back up and stand up.
Yeah.
I mean, I never want to do that crap again.
I grew up in, we moved from Kansas to Hurricane Alley after the blizzards of 76. And I grew up in like, scary something is having to clean up after an F5 tornado or after a category 4 hurricane that has just flattened everything, and you're cutting and you hear the wood make a sound and you're like,
Yep. And you're on the balls of your feet because you don't know where it's going to go.
No.
But no, it's back on topic. Having pets gives this depth to your characters. Like Asha, there's a scene, Asha, who is the master healer, when she's just a toddler, she rescues a baby Quetzal, which is a flying feathered serpent. And through the next 400 or 500 years, this thing just grows and grows and grows and grows and grows. And it just stays with her, like as her protector. And by the end, she's got like this 20-foot long serpent that, like, if she calls for it, it comes. And it, that's, there's a scene where it actually carries her sister and younger brother to safety from an enemy attack. So having the question is here, but now here's the question for Rachel.
Uh-oh. I'm on the spot. Wait.
Okay, 27 stab wounds. I'm going to just say that right there.
Look,
is
mad.
Cineas now Gabriel's pet?
According to Sebastian, yes.
Cineas is a dragon shifter. Just so you know, he's a dragon shifter who has now lost his human. So the question is he now a pet? And how does he feel about that?
So long as he can shift.
Yeah. The question is though, is okay. So
which part are you talking about?
When people are writing shifters,
okay,
wolf shifters, bear shifters, horse shifters, dragon shifters, cow shifters, moo.
I was about to say cow shifters.
Cow shifters, moo shifters. Is their animal side its own personality? Or is their animal side their human side's pet? Are they partners? Or when they're in animal form, are they just like human brain with animal instincts?
All right. Dragons are that. Dragons are dragons. They turn into they can go through a process by which they, in my world, disclaimer, in our world, mine and Dawn's world, they are dragons, period. And they can go through a magical process by which they can have their soul go into a human body. And they actually have to find a human body that no longer has a soul. In other words, they are brain dead. And that's how they do it. they are that person, they are the dragon, period. It's just one personality straight across. Now, the way Dawn does wolves, lichen, and stuff like that, they refer to their other side of their soul as the wolf, the bear, the leopard, whatever creature that their lycanthropy has is part of. And they each have their own culture too. So it's kind of surrounding that. And so that's how they see it. So if you, especially Russ, because he has the beast instead of the wolf, because he is a berserker, and that is a whole other dynamic. And so we wound up coming up with a character later on that really dives into that. It really dives into that, because who's responsible then? Who's responsible for murder if it's the beast that is doing it and
If
not
the beast does it.
the person? Or is it straight across the whole thing? So we kind of dove into that later, but yeah, that's the way we do ours. The lycanthropies, the lichen, are a dual-sided situation. They also goes into their shifting. Their shifting is kind of a dual-sided. Once they think they still have their thoughts and stuff, but they're very, very instinctual, and so that part comes out a lot. Whereas when the dragons shift, it's a magical process, and they're the same thing. They're the same all the way through. So no, he's not a pet. Cineas is not a pet, though. Sebastian, who is the vampire, calls all of them whatever he pleases, and he will refer to it as being a pet. Unless he wants to be part of the situation, and then of course, no, that's not the case. But if he wants to make fun of somebody, oh yeah, he's going to make fun of them and call him a pet.
See, in Cora, I have werewolf shifters, and Cora, the main character, she and her wolf are practically like twin sister and sibling bond, one person. She and her wolf they just get along together. Her mate is Mark, and he and his wolf hate each other. They are the least bonded wolf male pair. That Cora's like, how can you and your wolf not talk to each other? My wolf and I tell jokes to each other, and so it's very interesting. And like in Werecow, Daisy, her cow is clever. She and her cow, in this book, they don't talk back and forth between their beast and themselves, but they respect each other and they exist together.
Yeah.
But Daisy's
I saw that with the wolf, your red wolf.
Yeah.
Charlotte.
Yeah, Charlotte. Yeah. So yeah, that dynamic is more akin to what I see lichen being. And then you've got the side where the beast is concerned, and there are people who in our world embrace the beast, and then there are people who control the beast. Russ controls the beast.
Yeah.
And then there are people who just let it go, and that's the reason in their society those kind of people are usually killed. They're usually taken out.
She was a cow. She got bit. She turned into a minotaur.
But she hates that.
And she hates that she has a human now.
Because she started as a cow.
She started as a cow. She likes to be a cow.
I think sometimes, though, she forgets the hardship that she endured, too. I think I love the way that you did it, because I see humans in real life do this a lot. And that is, they will go into this nostalgia bomb, and they will see all the good things that they had in the past life, and they don't think about, I lost my family member, I lost this, we almost starved, all this
Yeah.
kind of stuff. They just, don't see that. They miss who they were at that point. And
Yeah.
then it comes around and you're like, but you're a Minotaur.
You're not
That's
just
so awesome.
you're not just a Minotaur. You were bit by the cursed prince of the Minotaur, and now you're going to be the Minotaur queen.
Yes. Embrace it. And she's like, no.
She's like, I don't want to be a queen. I liked being a maid. And I don't want to have a human. I liked being a cow. So yeah, it's interesting though that you read but you'll read like werewolf stories. Like your werewolves have like personalities and like their wolf form. Like the wolves will act different than the people.
Yeah.
And I like that because it indicates it's two different beings existing together.
It's like Devin is such a burly, huggable dude is the way he comes across. But if you piss him off and he's in his wolf form, he can be just as mean and nasty as any of the ones.
Yeah. And it's so interesting to combine that, and it's so much fun. And it's like, and are they technically a level of pet? Well, yes and no, and
but the reason I'm trying to hold back right now is because she has not read the last section.
I have not read the last section.
She immediately latches onto stuff, and I'm like, I can't believe she's come up with this because there's going to be a scene.
See, this is the problem with being a ghostwriter is you read something. If you read it, that's part of the rules of ghostwriting. Read everything the author has written and then become the author's magic pencil. So I can literally hear the scenes in your and Don's voices before they're written.
Yeah.
And I can see Sebastian going, oh, look at your big pet lizard now.
I believe that the problem that you got is you got them backwards because it's gonna be Devin. And he's gonna be like, oh, you need a treat? You're gonna get a treat if you come with me. The scene is fantastic.
The problem with doing that is I could see
as Devin's like gets a murderous glint in his eyes.
I can see Cineas going, I will pick your fur out of my teeth with my claws. Okay. We have 5 minutes left before the next stream starts. So we need to take a small break here. Let everybody go hydrate or dehydrate, stretch your limbs. If you have been writing, please save your scribbles in more than one place. Yes, please, Rachel, would you give us a little more about the Dragon Tasker series?
The Dragon Tasker series is my urban fantasy paranormal romance co-author collaboration that I do with Don McClellan, and we've been writing it for 20 years, and we're now bringing it to you. It's almost complete. This year we'll have all 5 books out, and we also started a prequel series because we wanted to figure out what happened beforehand. So now later on in 2026 we'll have that series complete for you, and it also comes with a whole universe of people, and we're going to be publishing those novellas out also over the next few years. So I hope that everybody is ready.
And now Sam can tell you about her dragon shifters in her series.
So my dragons are all in one the same. They don't have different minds, so they're all thirst beasts. But anyway.
Thirsty.
Y'all are going to hear my husband come in. But so I have a novella series. They're called My Husband Wants series, and it's very, very fun. And it has dragon shifters in it. It has witch can. It has elves, and it's funny and it's adorable, and it's all we need. So yeah, that's me. And Kona finally sits up because Daddy's home.
And I have shifters coming out, shifter series coming out. I have a wolf, a witch cat, and a were cow, which will be coming out in October, which adds every kind of shifter you could imagine. And the most dangerous animal in the whole world there, more dangerous even than the dragon shifters, is the carnivorous fluffle, which are the white rabbits from Monty Python.
Yes, I recognized that as soon as you started describing it. I was like, oh, yes.
The carnivorous fluffle is the most dangerous thing in the whole series, yes. And I will also be coming out with my werewolf shifter war, religious war, which also includes werewolves, dragon shifters, and gargoyle shifters. So that will be coming. But yeah, no, it's having pets in series is a lot of fun. Having shifters in series is a lot of fun because, yeah, critters and craziness. Make your writing more interesting. Make your writing more entertaining. Don't kill the dog.
Please don't kill any of them at all. They all
I
live.
am your host, Mama Maggie Ward. And thank you for joining Critters and Craziness. We are so happy to have everybody here for the Under 1K Subs Marathon. It has been amazing. So many people to follow, so many new author tubers and booktubers to follow. Please be sure to follow the playlist, save the playlist to your page so you can catch all the streams you miss later. And we hope you have a blessed day. Bye.